Hey, it's time. Home Spec Inspections. Getting me doing inspection here at 630 Jersey. Getting started a tad early here. About 8:45. This is an ASHI inspection. ASHI is the American Society of Home Inspectors. A copy of ASHI Standards of Practice is given with the home inspection contract and is the contract. But the American Society of Home Inspectors gives us a list of what I inspect, what I don't inspect, and what to expect from a home inspection. Pretty similar to hiring an electrician, a plumber, a furnace guy, and a structural engineer all in one. We find issues with those 4 different systems or trades. And we have the electrician, the plumber, the window guy, the furnace guy, or the engineer, or the roofer come out to further evaluate. The reason for that is there's different ways of fixing the same problem. Different methods, cost, materials, and opinions on the same exact problem, okay, or issue. So, hopefully we don't have those. If we do, then we do. But, other than that, it's not a cosmetic nickel and dime inspection either. I'm not looking for holes in screens or dandelions. Looking for major issues that may even dissuade a buyer from buying the property. I'm going to start on the roof and work my way down. Okay, this is a clay tile roof here. Sometimes you have these little hairline cracks on the tiles. It really doesn't matter. Anyway, I don't see any issues with this slope here. It's fine. Good for another 80 years. I don't know how old it is. Problem with these, you really can't walk on these. They crack sometimes. And this is actually metal, the flashing. So it looks like it may even be copper if it looks over there. Oh, the issues you have here is always the flashings in the valleys and all this stuff that tend to leak. There's, you have an accumulation of debris in there that should be cleaned out probably at least once a year. Same with your valleys. You get ice damming in here, it can back up underneath here. The only issue with this kind of a roof is we don't know what the underlayment is or what it looks like. A lot of times they deteriorate. So I don't see any issues at all with this roof. I don't think you have any real ventilation. We'll have to look in the back here. And then these gutters are going to leak here. Obviously they get full of debris. Taking all the water and dumping it right here, really not a good idea. And you can see where it drips down to the foundation here. So if this was my house, that's a big volume of water coming down here at a pretty quick speed and probably even overshoots the gutters here. So what you could do, you could put a downspout here, okay, cap this off, and then that should be working. Or you could use this system. I'd probably cut a hole here though, let it drain into there. Obviously it's leaking, you can see it down here. So the best way to do is when it rains like all heck out here, see what happens. Keep it all cleaned out. Probably have somebody get the leaves out of the valleys and the gutters at least once a year. This flashing up here is not really done right. It's not step flashed in here. All they did is glue it up with caulk. And that's always a temporary repair. So I would probably recommend a roofer for this. And then you got some deteriorating tiles here that need to probably be replaced. Other than that, we should be good to go. The same problem here. This valley flashing here is lifted up here and it's entrapping all this debris here. This is actually lead, which is fine, but you can see they just caulked it up there instead of embedding the flashing into the mortar to brick. You can see it leaking down here, deteriorating the brick. Okay, this slope of the roof looks pretty good too. The shakes look, like I say, we don't know about the underlayment underneath here. And then that's your vent stack for your sewer system there. Way too low, it needs to go up a couple of feet. Get that blocked up with snow, and then it's also just caulked up too. Good leak. Okay. So this is the other slope here, looks pretty good. Looks like you got one tile right there that slid down is not up there anymore. And always the issues with these is we don't know if the valleys are leaking, valleys and peaks are leaking or not unless we can see it in the attic. This area here, that area there might be, looks like the tile slipped down up there. You can see it right there. Hope you can see that. But the actual tiles themselves are fine. It's the installation and the underlayment we don't know about. Okay, the driveway needs to be replaced. Anywhere from $5 to $8 grand, I'm guessing. Good news is it had nothing to do with the house, except it's a curb appeal in neighborhoods like this. So, and then the garage door certainly needs to be painted again. This could have lead-based paint in it too. So it'll be scraped and painted. It's cosmetic mostly right now. With painting this brick, once you paint it, you got to keep painting it. The whole reason you have brick is so you don't have those every 7-year painting projects. So, okay, it's your electrical mass. You see it's gooted up with caulk, this big gap here. And this isn't done right. It's all lifting up. Didn't caulk this worth a darn here either. Get driving rain underneath this flashing. Like I said, the shingles are fine. A few of these tiles are getting kind of beat up here. All the way up it could be because it's ice dam in here. It's just such a low slope that the ice builds up and you get freeze thaw, and then the water hits the ice, backs up underneath these. You can see the black in between the valleys there of the shakes. That's probably because you have snow on here 3-4 months out of the year. And that's what happens if you don't clean the valleys out. You get ice damming, meaning debris builds up, the snow and ice hits that, and then you get back up, water leaking up underneath there between there in the valleys. So you need to clean those for sure. Probably a couple times a year, and then clean out your gutters, of course. I can't get on the roof. I don't get on these kind of tiles, but that chimney cap, that concrete cap needs to be rebuilt up there and or looked at by a chimney sweep. And you need to put a cap over that if it's not concreted up. Keep the rain from going in there. Disconnected leaking gutter here, disconnected here. And you don't have proper drainage here. You got to make sure this goes all the way out here. Looks like it's impeded right there, the end of the extension. Then you need to redo the grade here. You need a 10% grade 5 feet away from the house, so you can get water going right in your basement like they already have. Anyway, you look like dogs or something digging underneath the foundation. So you need to slope the dirt. You need to get rid of these plants, slope the dirt away from the house, put a vapor barrier over it, put rock or bark over it. Keep this water away from the house. All this vegetation next to the house needs to go away. Okay? Vegetation around your air conditioner is restricting the airflow. Okay? Relatively new. I'd cover your window well. That's how rain goes right in the basement. They got little covers that go on them. Colorado window well covers to put a cover on here to keep the rain out, keep all the debris out, keep the bunnies from falling in there and everything else. Make sure you keep your evergreen tree, your conifer or whatever, you're off this wire coming in here. Start wind blowing and snowing on here, it's going to delaminate the wires and can actually pull the wires out. Well, this tree here looks like half of that. Yeah, they're not doing too good. It looks like it's half dead to me. You might want to get an arborist to look at this. Problem with these trees too is they're big bucks to remove, anywhere from $2 to $3 grand sometimes. And these wires back here, you need to find out who's responsible for cutting the trees off the wires here. And you get a bunch of wind blowing and snow loads on here, could take electrical power out in half the neighborhood. An arborist out here, he will know who's responsible for cutting and trimming these trees. I don't like these trees on your neighbor's roof here either. Certainly would take these planters out, and then you got the downspout draining right next to your house. You can get water to your basement and structural damage. So I would probably take this out. If you want to plant, you got a whole backyard plant stuff in, not next to your house. And then you got a sprinkler system in here that needs to be removed too. It's all years and years of water next here. It's probably piling up snow and kind of deteriorating the paint and the brick. Not a lot you can do about it except keep painting it, I guess. Gutter here, I believe this is a dining room, was disclosed as leaking. Probably the seams are leaking. You see some of the rot on the fascia and stuff. So get all this stuff out here by the house, and then you need to slope this away from the house. We're gonna need a 10% grade 5 feet away from the house. If this was my house, I'd repave this with a 10% grade and then get a swale going one way or the other. This is not a frost-free spigot here. You're gonna have to turn off the water inside the house every year to keep it from freezing, or change it to a frost-free spigot. I don't know what this hole is here for, but it's a good way to get mice and critters and everything else in there. I'm guessing this is a dryer vent. This is telephone over here. This looks like it's leaking to me. If it used to, if it's not leaking, I'll be surprised. Same issue, that's pretty good rot deterioration underneath there, so you can see that. Your window wells keep the rain out of the basement. Cut all vegetation about 5 to 6 to 7 feet off the house and slope the dirt away from the house. This is a newer breaker box. You can see if they pulled a permit on it with Denver Building Department. And then I don't see any grounds here, equipment grounds, but I don't see any individual grounds in the box here. So it may be a non-grounded system. We'll have to check that out here in about 2 minutes. Can't have a door opening over steps. It's a trip hazard, okay? All right, so keeping it. They have handrails here too. You have a non-grounded outlet here, 3-slot, no ground, and then you don't have any GFIs in here. You're supposed to have GFIs in the kitchen, okay? Okay, I have old galvanized pipe here too. Problem with galvanized pipe, it restricts the water flow. You can be drinking contaminated chips of rust, and also it can break at any time, okay? Just rust down the inside, especially if it's like been plumbed from the 1950s. Also, you have mixed metals here. You have a copper and galvanized pipe mixed together. You can't do that. Amateur handyman wiring. The stove should be vented outside, not inside the house like it is here. And you don't have a tip over device on your stove. So this is all amateurly done here. Anyway, you also had clearance to the combustible issues with that wood, and even this thing. I mean, just feel the tremendous heat underneath here. Yeah, okay. Really see in the garage, but do see some little bit of efflorescence, and you need some tuck point in the garage. This whole wall could need to be tuck pointed once you remove all this debris.
What does tuck pointed mean?
Garage door is not done right. You have to have a dedicated receptacle for your garage door. You can't just plug it into an extension cord type deal. You got a big open junction box up there. See that big hole up there? That's a fire hazard in the garage. Crawl space has a significant multi-issues. We'll start with the first one. First of all, if this thing would focus, you have what that's white stuff there, that's efflorescence. That's mineral deposits from the outside water coming into your crawl space here from outside negative grade. Pretty much the whole house. The whole outside foundation needs to be corrected, as you can see there. Okay. You can't have exposed dirt anymore. You used to be able to do that, but exposed dirt and crawl spaces need to be covered with a real thick vapor barrier seal to the foundation wall. In fact, that's how you get in your radon, high level radon level. And the only way to fix that is cover this with a real thick plastic sheet. There's a company that does this called Complete Basement Systems, and they'll come out here and fix that. Right there, the mice droppings, you got actually professional mouse trap, so they know they have mice. So the problem is all this galvanized pipe down here really should be replaced. Okay, galvanized pipe will leak, restrict the water flow, rust out, can break at any time, and cause you major issues. Generally what they do is they just replace this. You see that rust spot right there? That's rusting right through there. That's what the inside looks like. You can probably see. Then you have a improper amateur handyman structural repairs. He took a 4x4 post and just stuck it in the mud without any benefit of any caisson. Can't do structural repairs like that. You need a structural pad or a caisson. In the crawl space, you can see your open hole there. The screen's not on there, so all your mice and critters get in there. And then, like I say, I don't know what's keeping these pipes from freezing down here either. So you need there's a company called Complete Basement System to come out here and mitigate all this. And you need a plumber to change all the pipes. This is your water damage to your foundation. Is it leading the structure? Eventually will. And they just patched over this. And I can almost guarantee you that's why they put this little half wall, false wall in here to cover up the structure or the damage to the foundation from years and years of water, negative grade. Guarantee it. In fact, they disclosed they had this fixed. This water behind this paint, it will pop. Feel that. Shut off is not going to be able to be used. I'm not even going to attempt it. It's going to leak.
Been here 4 years.
This is your electrical conduit going to the light down here. What? This is your gas meter. Number one. Number two, they can't read it. It's not on a transponder, I don't think. No. What's this for? It could have been. So they can't read your meter down here. If this thing would focus. They can't read your meter, so they're guessing at the meter levels, I guess. Plus, these things leak gas. They should really be put outside. They just seep gas through these little things right here. Your main shutoff back here, it's hard to get to with the washer in the way here. And they came from here and they got copper. They replaced the old galvanized, some of it. But you still have a bunch of galvanized, all this stuff here. All this galvanized pipe needs to go. Another big issue, the hot water heater and the boiler. The heater wasn't done right. The flue pipe needs to run all the way up through the chimney and terminate on top. You can't do what they did. You can have issues with backdrafting, water going in there, and a bazillion other deals. So you need to run the flue all the way up. Okay, and then cap it off with a B-vent flue pipe rain cap. Okay, so this is your air handler they put in the attic. The problem with air handlers is for air conditioners is what they do with the water to condensate. So what they did in this situation is they ran one condensate pipe into a sump pit or a condensate pump and pumping it outside. I mean, that's fine as long as this condensate pump works. But I don't see any fail-safe wiring from the condensate pump into the unit to shut it down when the pump fails. They did put a water alarm in there. That's that thing right there. But I don't think you can do this by code. So you can check, see if they got permits on this. I think the code now in Denver is you have to have 2 condensate pipes run outside, okay, drain outside, okay, and then you have to have a pan underneath here and a water alarm. So this water alarm will shut the system down, I believe, if this pump fails. So it may work, but I don't think it's code. It's better than I thought. You have here, you got major air leaks everywhere. I mean, I would probably suspect half of your air conditioning is being lost up here because the ducts aren't plenum and the ducts aren't sealed here. You see a bunch of water stains up here, and somebody came up here with some kind of tar paint. I mean, that's not how you fix stuff. You don't fix stuff like this from the inside. See how it's all cocked up, the valley there, the ridge. So, look at all that. I mean, that's, you know, that's that's not how you fix stuff. Alright, so I don't know who did this. You have to always obviously need to fix stuff from the outside. So, you might want to tell roof brokers about this or give them the video, I guess. And then up here, that's your main sewer vent stack. Remember I tell you it was too low on the roof? And you see the past water stain. Well, we're hoping they're past. I don't know if they are or not. Up there. So I don't know if they see the water stain. That's what they had. They had these water stains here, and they figured to just glue them up with this stuff. That ain't gonna fix nothing, man. That's pretty hilarious. Yeah, I don't like the fact that he put this wiring on a GFI outlet here. This GFI trips, and then you don't have any power to your condensate pump. You don't have a stopper for your tub here. That's where it goes. Yeah. Water down here. See the little particulates, little pieces of metal. That's good. Little pieces of metal in there. You're drinking all that. Galvanized pipes here, the water's kind of, can't see it on the flick, but the water's a little brown. Your pipe's leaking here. It could be leaking behind the wall too. Not a good leak. Leaking behind there, maybe not. The toilet's pretty loose. I don't know who put this toilet in, but it fell off the little shims right there. Anyway, you have a closet, light, open light in the closet. You need to change that. So fire hazard. I have a screen here in this window here. And the windows are newer. That's kind of good news. I still got paper around now and doesn't work. So I guess the bulb's hopefully burned out. So maybe that's why it was $1,500 for the roof repairs. It looks like they put that ice shield on the roof underneath the shingles. Or the tiles. If they did that, see that right there, and that's a really good repair.
Okay.
Didn't float the walls in the basement here, so that could be a legal issue too, or a resale item issue, or a structural issue if the slab moves, and an insurance issue. There's no heat down here in the so-called finished basement. Not finished with a permit. You should have some kind of heat down here. Usually what they do is they'll put electric heat boards down here or something. Now, there's no heat here. There's no heat in the bathroom either. Okay, the boiler's working good. Relatively new. I checked for permits because this part here isn't done right. The flue pipe needs to run continuously all the way up and terminate on the top. I checked to see if they got permits on this. That's pretty much the conclusion. 630 Jersey Street. That's it.